Okay, here we go. So working here through section 3, and we just learned how to set up a bookmark. So you should go ahead, if you've closed your project, go ahead and open up. I should have told you to save it. Hopefully you remember to save it. Your section 3 demo project. So I'm going to hit the little button so it'll save. These don't automatically save. And when we last spoke to you, you set up a bookmark so that you can come in here and zoom right to the community college at a scale of 1 to 10,000. All right, sweet. So the next thing we're going to look at is base maps. We talked a little bit about base maps. How do you change the base map? When should you change it? Let's take a look at some of that. Let's take a look at the base maps. So here we go. And this is our button for changing the base map. And if you hit the little down arrow here, you can see base map options. I'm going to go ahead and make that window a little bit bigger so we can see all of them in one window. It's really fun because these get updated. And so here's our base maps. And if we're not putting any layers, so this map where I'm kind of zoomed into Spokane Community College, I don't have anything on it but a base map. If I want to change the base map, I could choose the first one here. This is just imagery. It's going to update that, and I'm going to see bird's eye view of campus on a given day. So that's kind of fun, isn't it? Other base maps, we've got the imagery with labels on it. And so if you want an aerial image, those are great and fine. There are many reasons, which we will talk about, especially as we get into design, why aerial image does not make the best base map for a map that has anything on it besides just the aerial image. But if you just want to have a nice air photo to take a look at an area, these are great. Let's look at some of the other base maps. So in general, the rule is going to be this. The more information you have in layers on your map, the simpler you're going to want your base map to be. In some cases, you may even choose not to have a base map, and that's okay. So the more information that you yourself are putting on the map, the simpler you want your base map to be, okay? For those purposes, we can say some of the best simple maps are going to be your light gray canvas, your dark gray canvas. Those are good if you've got a whole bunch of information that you're trying to show on a map. Those two maps are really just really simple, so they don't get in the way of the information you're actually trying to highlight. When we look at hierarchy, we're looking at what's most important on the map, and in general, what you put on the map is going to be the most important. If you want to have a lot of context for your map, the streets is good because it's going to provide kind of an overview of the human-built environment. So if you want to have that human-built street environment, that's going to be a great one. Let's see here. I love some of the new design ones. Oh, if you're working, when I'm putting together maps for like field work, or if I'm going off trail, I use USA Topo maps because they're going to look like the old school maps I'm used to navigating with. So I'm going to zoom out here a little bit, and if we go up to, let's go up to Mount Spokane where we get more topography. Let's see. It's going to look like your old school USGS maps if that's how you're used to navigating, because I came into adulthood in the late 90s. This is how I'm used to navigating, by map and compass. You pull out your map. It's a physical paper thing. You pull out your compass and you get yourself where you want to go, right? And so this is what I'm used to looking at, and so this is really comfortable for me. Also, you want to have those topographic lines, those topographic contours, when you're going to be traveling off trail, which most field work is going to just take you wherever you need to go. Nobody built a trail there, so if I'm creating maps for field work, I usually use the USA Topo option, which is, where'd that go? Topographic. Oh, I guess because, here it is, USA Topo Maps. That's the one that's going to look like your old school USGS map. That one's super useful, although it's busy, so you wouldn't want to put a bunch of layers on top of it, right? You see all the information that's going on here, right? You got contour lines, you've got trails, you've got roads, you've got section numbers. So, what else was I going to tell you? It's fun. We have already seen the terrain with labels, if I remember right. And that's a fun one because you can turn the reference layer off if you want to. So you've got labels here that you can turn on or off. You've got roads and features, and then you've got the hillshade. So you could see that this could be a pretty simple map if you turned one or two of these off in the base map, and you can choose which ones you want. Yeah, so that's a little bit. Let's pull up one of the newfangled, fun, pretty ones. This one's kind of a fun one, but it would not be appropriate. Like you have to be under very limited conditions. Is this going to be the map that's the most appropriate for what you're working with? But in some conditions it might be, and you can see a word we should bring up is cartographic generalization. That's cartographic generalization. And what that means is the farther we zoom out, the fewer details we see. The map becomes more generalized. So you just get the big features show up, but the details don't show up. And then as we zoom in on a well-made base map, more details show up. So the process of simplifying the real world to show it on a map, that's cartographic generalization. Simplifying the big world to show it on a map is cartographic generalization, and that generalization means that as we zoom out and we see things big, we're not going to have as many details. Like we lost Spokane here and we just show Seattle. Apparently they're just showing the biggest cities and not the capitals. Okay, so let's jump back into our PDF. The following base maps are very busy. Oh, there's another typo. That's the second one I've caught. Are very busy and will look crowded or messy with more than a couple of layers. Okay, let's list some of those. Imagery and imagery hybrid, very busy. Navigation, imagery hybrid, navigation, and USA Topos or USGS National Map. Let's see if I can remember all those. Navigation, I think. Navigation, dark, and USGS National Map. Firefly imagery hybrid, that's a beautiful one, but it's going to be really busy. You could maybe show a few points on it, but you wouldn't want to have many layers. So navigation, Firefly imagery, NAIP, National Map. Okay. Okay, so those are some of the busiest base maps that you want to avoid, unless your map doesn't have very many layers on it, or it has just like one simple layer. Then knock yourself out, and you know that the person's eye is going to go to that base map, and it's really going to focus, and it's going to be a lot of detail because our eyes go to where we see a lot of detail and a lot of action. These base maps are very plain and work great when your map has multiple layers. Let's take a look at those. So, light gray canvas and dark gray canvas, yes. Human geography, if I remember right, is also pretty good. Yeah. Light gray canvas, dark gray canvas, human geography. I'm hoping that with this talk that we'll get a little bit better base map selection than I've seen in students in the past. We haven't had this talk as early, so I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what you guys do. So we've got a human geography dark. That's actually a new one. I haven't seen that one. That might be a good one as well. Colored pencil map is kind of stylized, so yeah, it's kind of fun. You might be able to get away with it. It's more of an in-between map. I'm kind of highlighting the ones that are the busiest and the ones that are the calmest. This is an in-between where you just have to kind of use your discretion to decide, well, you know, how much do I have going on and is it safe to use this? So, and all right, so these are the ones that I'm going to suggest for when you have multiple layers going on your map. These are the ones I'm going to suggest avoiding unless you have a really simple map. The other ones, you know, they're in between, so you'll figure it out. We'll figure it out together, okay? Next piece, very near and dear to my heart. When should you put a layer with a solid fill polygon symbol on top of your base map? So let's see what that looks like. This figure here is a solid fill polygon. So this is a polygon. Maybe it's my project area, and a solid fill means that it's got an outline and then it's got fill inside of it, and it's sitting here on top of my detailed base map. When is that ever going to be a good idea? I'm going to say pretty much never. All right, so it's the kind of mistake that we make in the first few months making maps. Putting a solid polygon on top of a base map. Basically, I've lost all the information that my base map gives me, so I may as well not have it, if that makes sense to you, right? I can't see underneath this big polygon. If this is my project area, that's great, but how do I even see what's inside my project area? It looks like I've got a few trails and a few stars. I don't have a legend on this, it's just a screenshot, but I don't know what's inside of here. It's frustrating. And so you're never going to put a layer with a solid fill polygon symbol on top of your base map. We're going to learn about symbols and symbolization in our next section. So we'll learn how to make that in our next section. But today, since we're talking about base maps, I just want to emphasize that your base map loses all of its utility when you put a solid something on top of it. When you can't see your base map anymore, it's useless. So you may as well get rid of it. Don't put a layer with a solid fill polygon symbol on top of your base map. Don't do it, okay? You're welcome to send me a message if you can think of a good reason to do it, and I'd love to hear, because I haven't found one yet. So what should you do instead? Because sometimes you are going to have polygon symbols, layers that are symbolized with polygons. What are you going to do? You can make them hollow. And we're going to teach you how to do that soon, okay? You can make them hollow with an outline. You can make the fill transparent. And like I said, I'm going to show you how to do that in the next section. Just have to bear with me, but we're talking about base maps today, but how you can keep the visuals of your base map so that they're useful. You can make your polygon hollow with an outline. You can make the fill partially transparent. You can make the fill hashed. So that means it's got kind of hash lines in it. Let me show you what this is going to look like. I think I can do that. Okay, first off, I'm going to go back to maybe my straight up topographic, and I'm going to zoom myself back to Spokane Community College. There we go. And for me, in my catalog, in my favorites, I might have something in here. I'm not sure if I've got a polygon layer. All right, I'm going to pull on. So I have these demonstration files. Don't worry about this, so you don't need to follow along with me. I'm just going to show you something, okay? I'm going to pull Spokane County on here. And so great, now I've got Spokane County, and that is a solidly filled polygon. And if I were to zoom to my bookmark, now all I see is pink, and that's kind of a pain. I'm going to show you how to do these things like in section 4. Right now, it's just a quick like, hey, check this out. So I could make my feature layer transparent. Okay, so now it's somewhat useful. I can still see Spokane County, but I can also see what's inside of it. So transparency can be useful, although it's not perfect, right? I can still kind of, there we go. The lighter it is, the better, if I want to see what's inside of it. So I could make it transparent, that's one option. I could just make it hollow so that Spokane County was just an outline, and I'm going fast because I'm going to show you this stuff later. So I could show it like that. Now I've got a polygon, or I think I talked about making it hashed. So like I said, you don't have to keep up with this. I'm just showing you, but I could give it fill, but I could, let's see here. Let's see. Or let's choose one that has hashed already. That'll make it easier. So there's a hatch there. Okay, so I can make it hatched, although that's really busy and it kind of is frustrating to the eye. But those are options, at least we could see underneath. I guess stippling could be another option, but I think stippling usually goes with a white background, yeah. So, the moral of the story is we are not going to, we're not going to put a polygon on top of our base map, a full polygon, because it gets rid of all the information in the base map and it doesn't look very professional. Okay, so there's that. We're going to call it hatched. All right. Okay. All right. So that's kind of the end of the base maps, and in the next section of this demonstration, we're going to talk about adding data to the map, and that gets kind of exciting. So I'm going to go ahead and end here for now, and then we will pick up again in our next segment, and we're going to talk about adding data to the map. We're going to add it in a bunch of different ways.